Hey everybody, today I want to show you some of my latest Beatle finds. Now these are things that I picked up over the last maybe month and a half or so. Things that I've picked up in local record shops. A couple of these things I got on eBay. And I just wanted to show you, go through some of these and tell you why I picked some of these up. Starting off with a couple of 45 singles. This is the Beatles' Hey Jude. And I picked this up because it's in very, very, very nice shape. Now I already owned this before, but this is in a lot better shape than what I had. As you can see, it has the original price tag for wherever it was sold for 77 cents. And this happens to be a Los Angeles pressing. And I will show you, well, I'm not even gonna bother taking it out because it's in this nice plastic and you get the idea. But yes, just very minty and very nice, so happy to add that to my collection. Next up, another 45, and this one is Lady Madonna with the Inner Light. And again, this is another one that I had in my collection before, but this is in much, much better shape. And I got this from one of my other local record shops. So, and I've always liked this, this sleeve of the Beatles peeking around the corner. I gotta say, this is on, I'll show you what this one looks like just because it's fun to look at the label. This is on the Capital Swirl label. Now, this 45 is so loud and at times distorted. So it's not at all a pleasant listen is what I'll say, but it's definitely fun to collect and have in the collection. So Lady Madonna, the Inner Light. Next up, I think I may have shown these a while ago, but I wanted to highlight them again. These are two, one is an EP and one is a single. These are both from Japan, and my friend Andy was working in Japan for like about a year. And while he was there, he picked me up 3 items. 2 of them were Beatle items, and these are 2 of the Beatle items. So this is an EP. I think it's the Michelle EP. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but it has Michelle, Girl, Nowhere Man, and What Goes On. And very cool on the back. And I believe this is, I think this is a later repress. I could be wrong, but there's the label. I looked it up a couple days ago. I don't remember exactly what the year was on this, but very, very cool addition to the collection. And very nice of my friend Andy to think of me and pick these up. And the other one is this. This is She Loves You. And this sounds really, really nice. I was really surprised when I put this on. It's on the Apple label, and it really has a nice presence to it. And I'll show you what that looks like right there. There we go. And I believe this is like a mid-70s reissue of the She Loves You, I'll Get You single. But it, like I said, it sounds great. And I think they probably used the original single master for this, because it sounds a lot better than a lot of the She Loves Yous I have in my collection. So really, really happy to get that. And next up, another album, another Japanese album from the Beatles. This one I picked up in a local record shop. This is Beatles number 5, and this is in mono. And this is also I believe this is a reissue. And it's from the EAS Flag series, I believe is what they call it. And there's the record. And this also sounds really, really nice. It has, even though it has the cover that's similar to Beatles 65, this has just a lot of their early songs like Long Tall Sally, She Loves You in German, Anna, Matchbox, You Really Got a Hold on Me, She's a Woman, Ask Me Why is side 1. Side 2 is I Feel Fine, I Want to Hold Your Hand in German, Chains, Slow Down, All I Gotta Do, I Call Your Name, and This Boy. So quite an odd kind of collection of songs there, but yeah, really a nice sounding pressing. And these Japanese pressings are usually, I will say, really high quality. They press them on really top quality vinyl, so the vinyl is almost always dead silent, and they usually, like I said, usually, because there are a couple of exceptions, they usually used original or really good source material from the UK. So really happy to have Beatles number 5, and the picture on the back is very cool too. Then this is another one I got in my local record shop. This is an Australian pressing called the Essential Beatles, and this is another kind of weird one as far as what's on here. It's a compilation, and these are songs, I guess, that were hits in Australia. I'll show you what this record looks like. There's the front, nice green apple label. There's the back. And again, the songs on here are very interesting. You have Love Me Do, Boys, Long Tall Sally, Honey Don't, P.S. I Love You, Baby You're a Rich Man. P.S. I Love You into Baby You're a Rich Man is just quite a leap if you think about it. It also kind of shows you just how amazing the Beatles were as far as, you know, I mean, P.S. I Love You was recorded in, what, late 1962? And then Baby You're a Rich Man was recorded in 1967. So, I mean, that's 5 years. That's not a lot of time, but for the Beatles, that was like a huge amount of time. Anyway, the Baby Rich Man, and then All My Loving, Yesterday at Penny Lane, that's the first side. The second side makes a little bit more sense. Magic Mystery Tour, Norwegian Wood, A Little Help from My Friends, All I Need Is Love, Something, Obla Da, and Let It Be. And again, these are songs that I believe were hits in Australia, which is why it's kind of a weird track selection. If you're wondering about the sound quality is just pretty good, is what I would say. They kind of jammed a lot of songs onto both sides, which tends to not be the best for overall sound quality. But a cool album to have in my collection for sure. And I like this back cover, kind of interesting little diagram of the Beatles timeline. Next up, this is a record I've been after for a very long time, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to finally get it in my collection, but this is the Beatles Ballads. And this is a UK pressing from 1980, and there's the back. And for a long time, I always was under the impression that this cover was supposed to be the cover for the White Album, before the White Album was just called The Beatles. They were toying with the idea of calling it A Doll's House. But as I've done further reading online, it turns out that this was just a photo that was commissioned for the Beatles Illustrated Lyrics book that came out, I believe, in like the late 60s, maybe early 70s. I don't actually own that book, but apparently I don't know the actual true story. Maybe you know the true story, and I'd love to know in the comments below. Was this supposed to be for the White Album, or was it just made for the Beatles Illustrated Lyrics? Either way, it's a very interesting painting, album cover. You get the Beatles looking kind of forlorn, and you have Yoko in this like glass ball that John's holding. Just a very interesting cover. This album, Beatle Ballads, is on the silver and black Parlophone label. Again, this is a UK pressing from 1980. And as far as the sound quality on this, it's pretty good. It's nothing amazing. This has just been a compilation that I've really wanted to have in my collection for a long time. I've seen them in record shops, I've seen them online, but they've always been really expensive. And for what the album is, I didn't want to pay a lot of money, but I finally picked this up on eBay for a good price. I think I got this for $20, including shipping. So very happy to have this in the collection. And last but not least, it's not technically a Beatles release, but it's Beatle related. This is the Pussycats album by Harry Nilsson. And of course, this was produced by John Lennon, and it has Ringo on drums on a lot of the tracks. But this happens to be the quad mix of the album. They call it a quadra disc on the RCA label. And I got this sealed. Found this online for $15, sealed, brand new. I can never pass up a deal like that. And there's the back. And I just love this album anyway. It's a pretty controversial album because this is the album that Harry Nilsson, he blew out his voice on it. He actually like ruptured one of his vocal cords. But he didn't tell John because he didn't want John to stop the project. He wanted to keep recording. So Harry Nilsson's voice is, on certain songs, is really, really ragged. But the cool thing about this quad mix is that you can listen to this, by the way. I don't have a quad set up at all. But you can listen to quad records on your stereo, and it'll play normally. It'll play, you know, like a 2-channel stereo, but it's a totally different mix. And a lot of times with these quad releases, you get like extra little bits of, you know, like before a song starts, you'll hear like a little chatter, or maybe after the song, you'll hear some chatter, or you'll even get altogether different takes of songs. And in this case, the mixes on here are just so drastically different. It's almost like a completely different album. And the really good thing about this is that Harry Nilsson's voice on the original mix is kind of buried, because I think they were trying to cover up the fact that his vocal cords had ruptured. But on this, you can really hear his voice very, very, very well. And it's actually not as bad as it seems. And besides all that, you hear just other instruments much, much clearer. The drums are more present on this. So I was really, really happy to get this quad mix, and I'll show you what the record looks like. On the RCA orange label. And yeah, I mean, getting this brand new sealed was very, very cool. And one side note I should mention, so this was sealed, brand new, never been played. It was still quite dirty. I had to clean it. And it was in no way a perfect pressing, in the sense that it's not dead quiet at all. It has some surface noise. And so that just goes to show that you can even get a brand new record from the 1970s and condition can still be an issue. So they were having quality control problems way back in the day. That's just the process of making records. It's a very, very, not an exact science is what I'll say. And it's just, generally speaking, I guess, in the 1960s and 70s, quality control was a lot better, but they still had some issues as well. But all that being said, I'm still very, very happy to have this, and it sounds great. So those are my latest Beatle finds. I'm sure I'll have some more coming up in a couple of weeks. I used to make a lot of these type of videos, and I'm going to try to get back into that as far as showing, you know, what I pick up when I go to record stores. Obviously, I'm not going to record stores as much as I used to go because we have a little baby, and life is a lot more hectic these days in a good way. But that being said, I am still going to record shops whenever I get a chance. I usually take Eleanor with me, and she actually likes record shops a lot, which is very good. Hope that stays that way. If it doesn't, that's okay too, but for now, good for me. And yeah, we go, and I don't spend as much time there as I used to because obviously I have her, but I still usually go right to the Beatles section to see what they have, and I usually end up picking up one or two things. So I'll try to make more of these type of videos showing my Beatle finds. Anyway, that's it for now. More videos to come. Take care, and bye for now.